Hey guys, Mike from Red Sea Visuals, and welcome to part 2 of our Videography Basics Equipment Checklist, the Camera Kit. Now, in case you missed it, in part 1 we went over why a good mic should be your first purchase. Well, you can find the link to that video down in the description or the comments below. And just a reminder, we're focusing on vlogs here. Now, if you're wondering why vlogs, well, we made a video about that as well, and you can find the link to that in the description and the comments below too. Anyway, enough dilly-dallying. Oh, dilly-dallying. I sound like a British girl from the 1800s. Dilly-dallying, papa. Let's get right to it and talk about which camera you should get for vlogs. So the first thing that you need to realize is that you have to buy more than just a camera. You need to get a camera kit. Why? You need a whole ecosystem of gear to truly get your camera ready for a shoot. You'll need things like a lens, that one's pretty obvious. You'll need a good power supply because the batteries that come with DSLRs or mirrorless cameras often don't last that long. You'll need memory cards, and last, you'll need a reliable tripod. Anyway, let's get to the piece of gear that you want to hear about the most, the camera. So let's imagine two vlog YouTube channels. The first one has amazing cinematic quality videos, but the information that they put out you don't really care about, and they're not all that good at communicating it. Channel number 2, on the other hand, their video quality is just okay, but they talk about the things that you actually care about, and they do it in a way that's engaging and easy to understand. So which channel are you more likely gonna keep going back to? It's gonna be number 2. Look, I'm not trying to deny that the quality of a video has an impact, but when it comes to vlogs, how good your information is, how clearly you communicate it, how engaging you are, how consistently you put out content, all those things matter much more than the quality of the video. And that's why when it comes to vlogs, all you really need is a camera that's just good enough. Don't be paralyzed by trying to make your video as cinematic as possible. That can come later. So that begs the question, which cameras are good enough? Well, any camera released within the last 3 years shoots 4K, and any camera released within the last 8 years shoots HD, so you have a lot of options that are good enough. It all really depends on what your budget is. If you don't have a budget, well, your best bet is going to be using your smartphone. Most smartphones these days shoot 4K, and any smartphone released within the last 3 years actually shoots really good quality video. But, there is a but, you are going to have to buy a converter or cable in order to hook up a lav mic like this, and it's going to look like it's still shot on a cell phone. And lastly, you do have limited manual controls when you're shooting on a smartphone, though there are now paid apps to get around this. And now the next suggestion is going to bring me a lot of haters from the videography world and filmmaking world. So if your budget is $500 and below, I feel you should get a used Canon T3i or T4i. Now all those haters are probably thinking, Mike, why would I buy an old camera that only shoots HD when it's a 4K world? Simple. 1, you don't have enough money for a 4K camera. And 2, HD is still good enough, and you can go a long time on good enough. The fact of the matter is, most of the videos on YouTube are watched in HD. Most people don't have 4K displays still, and a lot of people watch videos on smartphones these days. An HD video looks fantastic on a smartphone. And you know what? With the T3i and the T4i, you get those amazing Canon colors that videographers and filmmakers alike love so much. You can probably get a used one for only $200 to $350, depending on whether or not it comes with a lens. You get a flip-out screen that comes in very handy when shooting yourself for a vlog. The camera and its menu system is very user-friendly, and the family of lenses that you can use with a Canon camera is huge, with a lot of good options at different price points. The only real cons is that they only shoot HD. And they also have lower dynamic range than modern-day mirrorless or DSLR cameras. But you know what? That doesn't really matter when it comes to vlogs because you're not going to be shooting in any high contrast situations. Unless you're shooting with a window right out back behind you, which I wouldn't recommend anyway. So if your budget's around $1,000, I recommend you go with the Sony a6500. You can get a brand new one on B&H for about $898. Actually, not about, that's exactly the price, $898. And it comes with a 16 to 50 millimeter kit lens, which is good enough when you're starting out, especially for vlogs. It has amazing autofocus capabilities. It's small and lightweight. It shoots HD and 4K. It has decent enough colors. It's not as good as Canon's, but they're more than good enough for vlogs. And like all other Sony mirrorless cameras, the a6500 has the versatile E-mount. Now, why is this a good thing? With the help of a lens adapter, you can use so many lenses that are meant for other cameras. So what are the cons? Well, it does have a slight green tint to the image, but you know what? That's easily fixed in post. And as I mentioned earlier, the Sony colors aren't as good as the Canons. And a big con is that the battery life is crap. And one thing that I should mention is that if you do end up getting a Sony lens for your a6500, you'll only be able to use that lens on other Sony cameras. So if you decide to, switch to a Canon or Fuji or a Panasonic somewhere down the road, you're not going to be able to use that lens. So whether you go with the smartphone, the T3i, or the a6500, when it comes to vlogs, all of those will do. But remember, you don't just need to get a camera, you need to build a camera kit. And what's the most important piece of gear when it comes to your camera kit? It's a good lens. The lens will significantly impact the quality of the image that you're able to get out of your camera. And a good lens will last you a very long time. There are lenses that have been around for decades that people are still using to this day and are still getting great images out of. So which lens should you go with? If you went with the smartphone or your camera already came with a lens, then you can go ahead and skip this section. But if all you have is a camera and no lens, then I've got good news for you. There's no need to buy lenses brand new. You can buy them used. That's because good lenses, when maintained well, last a very long time. And there's lots of great places for you to buy used lenses. You can go on eBay, you can go on Facebook Marketplace, you can go to Craigslist, you can go to lensauthority.com, and those are just a few places that come right off the top of my head. So if you went with the T3i or T4i, I'd recommend getting this Canon 24mm f2.8 lens that I found for $139 plus shipping. Or you can spend a little bit more and go with the Samyang 24mm t1.5 lens for $355 plus shipping. Now, why am I recommending 24mm lenses? Well, that's because you don't know if you're going to have enough space to back up to fit in everything that you want in your image. Plus, it's also going to give you good depth of field. That's the amount of space, back and forth that will actually be in focus. You want to have a good amount. You don't want that razor thin. Because if you have someone like me who moves around like a lot, while they talk. Oh my God, I am such a fucking idiot. Anyway, that's why you want a good amount of depth of field. So when people move around when they're talking, they'll stay in focus. If you went with the a6500, I'd recommend you get the Samyang AF 24mm f2.8 lens, and you can get a brand new one for $249. I wasn't able to find a good used deal on this one. Or you can go with the Sony Zeiss SEL 24mm lens. So the next piece of gear that you want to buy for your camera kit is a good power solution. Now, we already went over that the batteries for the a6500, they really don't last long. The batteries for the T3i and T4i are better, but you don't want to be buying a bunch of batteries and switching them out all the time when you're shooting vlogs. Now, if you're lucky, your camera came with an AC adapter, so that means you already have a great power solution. You're just gonna plug that sucker in. But if you're not so lucky, your best option would be to get a dummy battery paired with an AC power supply. Now, the great news is that you can buy one for the T3i and T4i on Amazon for just $16.99. And you can also get one for the a6500 for $26.99 on Amazon as well. So the next piece of gear you should get for your camera kit are memory cards. So if we take a look at this infographic over here, we can see the different ratings for memory cards. And if we take a closer look, we can see that the high limit for shooting HD would be a V30 class memory card. But we should also note that it's also good for shooting 4K too. That's why I recommend going with a V30 class memory card, whether you're shooting on the a6500 or a T3i or T4i. You can go with the SanDisk 16GB Extreme SDHC card for only $898 on Amazon. Now this card will get you 44 minutes of HD recording time on the Canon T3i or T4i and 42 minutes of HD recording time on the A6500. In terms of shooting 4K, you'll be able to get 21 minutes out of this card on the A6500. So it's probably not the card you should go with if you're planning on shooting on 4K. The second option you can go with is a SanDisk Extreme Pro 32GB SDHC card, which sells for $1298 on Amazon. On this card, you can get 89 minutes of HD recording on the T3i or T4i. You can get 85 minutes of HD recording on the A6500. In terms of shooting 4K on the A6500, you can get 42 minutes out of this card. Now just remember, you should get 2 cards. You never want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's why you want to get 2. Now on top of that, you should also get a memory card reader so that you can transfer your footage from your memory card to your computer. I recommend getting this Anker 2-in-1 USB 3.0 memory card reader for just $1299 on Amazon, or this other Anker model memory card reader for $1299 on Amazon as well. And no, this video is not sponsored by Anker or Amazon. I just happen to think that Anker is a really good brand, and obviously you can always find great deals on Amazon, especially if you have Prime membership. So the last piece of gear you need for your camera kit is a good tripod. A good tripod is your next best investment next to the lens because it'll last you for many, many years. Now for filmmakers, tripods can run up into several thousands of dollars, but luckily for vlogs, you don't need to go that far. You just need to look for certain qualities in tripods, like how easy it is to adjust the height, how easy it is to make sure that it's level, and how easily you can take your camera on and off the tripod. These things will make your life so much easier. So with that criteria in mind, here are a few tripod recommendations. You could go with the newer professional 61-inch tripod for only $119.99. How do you say that? It sounds so Scandinavian, spelled N-E-E-W-E-R. Newer! Although I think it's actually made in China. Anyway, or you can go with the Magnus VT4000 tripod system for $127.96. Now, if you're shooting on a smartphone, both of these will do, but you will need to get a cell phone mount for the tripod. And you can go with this one that I found on Amazon for just $19.95. Now, why am I not recommending any cell phone tripods if you're shooting on a smartphone? Well, that's because at the taller heights, they're not really that sturdy, and you don't really know yet whether you're going to be shooting sitting down or standing up, so it's better just to go with one of these other tripods. And plus, if you ever upgrade to an actual camera, you can still use these tripods as well. So there you have it. I hope you feel a little less intimidated and more empowered in terms of knowing what gear you need in order to start making videos. And you know what, if you're thinking, Mike, this is all well and good, but I'd rather have someone else with experience put all of this together for me, and I've got lots of money, then we'd be happy to help. Just send us a note at hi@redseavisuals.com. Now just a reminder, you can find all the links to the products we talked about down in the description below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications. We'll see you next time.